All right, what we're going to do is use this magic probe here. It's magnetic probe, magic probe. It's attached to the computer. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to set up, but I finally got it set up. Now, what I'm doing here is I have taken a blueprint of a Martin D and just taken a picture of it. Mark the numbers on the actual drawing, and I'm going to take a reading here, here. I'm taking 16, 17 of them total. Basically, everywhere there is a hole in between the brace. And I have it up here at the popsicle brace too. I went ahead and took shot in front of the popsicle brace. This just means that I get a consistent, I take readings consistently. And you can see the numbers on this one because this is from the 42 Authentic. The numbers are cute. I mean, the picture is cute, but what really matters is these numbers right here. And so what I'm going to actually do, what I've been doing actually, is just writing the numbers down on a piece of paper right here and then forget the picture. I actually don't know where my original template is, so we're just going to mark it on this picture right here. I will show you what it looks like when you do a measurement. But then I'm not going to show all of it because it's kind of a tedious process. So let me get a mirror here. And you can see what the ball looks like and like where I'm taking these measurements. And then what I do is once I get the measurements down, I put them in a spreadsheet and calculate the average, the mean. That is the mean, the average. I do the average of the standard deviation, the high, the low. So if you're not familiar with statistics, here's a quick crash course in statistics. So let's say we have a set of numbers like this. Okay, so let's back up a little bit here. I'm going to set this GoPro down, maybe. We have some numbers like this, and say we have some data that looks like this. You got a number here, and you got a number here, and then you have a whole bunch of numbers in here. The average of this set of data would be right here. And then you would have a maximum, or I'm sure you'd have a minimum, and you'd have a maximum over here. But your standard deviation would be something like this. So your standard deviation would be pretty small from the average, or the mean. So you could have a set of data that looked like this, where you have a minimum over here and a maximum way up here, so outliers basically, and then your average would be down here, and really the data is kind of clustered here, and so your standard deviation would be small, okay? And this would be as opposed to a second set of data, which I don't have another colored pen, so let's just watch this right here. And you could have your maximum and your minimum exactly the same, which we're going to have, but the data could be here, like that, very evenly distributed across here, and in which case your average could be the same, your minimum could be the same, your maximum could be exactly the same, but your standard deviation would be big, like that. So the standard deviation tells you how wide the data spread is. And that's why it's a useful number. And you can have one standard deviation, two standard deviation, whatever. I'm just going to do one standard deviation. And this is what it tells you. It tells you where, how tightly clustered, how consistent those numbers are. And maybe you have a skinny number and a fat number and an average. But really the data could be tight or the data could be wide. And that's a good thing to know. Now, as far as what this actually tells you, I don't really know. It tells you the top thickness, but thickness is not necessarily stiffness. So don't get those two confused. Stiffness and thickness are really two different things because it depends on the actual piece of wood. It has nothing to do with the grain lines. It has to do just with that specific piece of wood. Engelmann spruce can be soft. Within red spruce tops, you can have a soft one, you can have a stiff one. You should ask somebody like John Arnold as to why this might be. It has to do with the stiffness of the grain lines, not necessarily even. In fact, wider grain can be stiffer than grain that has a lot of lines in it. So the thickness of the top, honestly, I don't know what value it is except that it's interesting. And that's really it, okay? It's just kind of fun to see. And it's good to collect data because you never know. You never know what is going to be important. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put this magnet in here. And you got to take the strings off because, there it is. Because the ball falls off all the time and you got to reach in there and get it. And you've got to get it to go around the braces and that kind of thing. So this is what I like to see right here. I like to see this part of it standing straight up. If you tilt, God, I can't talk today. If you tilt it one way or the other, you would get a bad reading. And so my reading right now is 129 mils. And you can see the ball is pretty much in the center there. That's not where it's going to be. I'm going to go ahead and move it over to here. And let me check my chart over here. And we are on the pickguard side of this. And so I want to get into the hole that's right at the edge of the pickguard. The pickguard's in the way and I can't really get into this one. So that doesn't matter because the pickguard is going to basically stiffen that piece of wood anyways. So we're going to go into the hole that's right behind the pickguard, and that's where we're at right now. And I'm only taking one measurement right there. The 42, D45 is 109 right there, and this 41A is 131. Whew. So anyway, that's what it looks like. There's the ball. Let me move the mirror a little bit. There's the ball. And that's sitting up like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click this right there. And I'm not even going to click it at this point. I'm just actually going to write down the number over here. So that's number 4. So this is a D28 41A. And I'm going to do 16 of them. Etc. Okay? And so this is number 4 right there. And I'm going to write down 131. There we go. And I'm going to go through all 16 of these, just like that. And then I'll have a complete data for this top. I have just a little bit of data for this top right now, but I don't have the complete picture. I didn't take the whole thing. So I'm going to do all that, and then I will show you all of the data and what the guitars look like inside, and that's sort of fun and an exciting thing. And it'll be up to you to decide what this actually means.